Hello besties, my name is Savannah. Welcome to or back to my channel. Today's video, I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from a TikTok trend that has been going around, but actually I'm not even entirely sure that it originated as a TikTok trend because I feel like people were maybe doing this on YouTube last year. Probably can tell from the title, but today we're gonna be talking about my 10 before the end, which is basically just 10 books that I'd really like to get to before the end of 2025. Now, like I said, I've been seeing a lot of people do this on TikTok. I posted my own 10 before the end on TikTok. If you don't follow my book TikTok already, you totally should. It's always linked in the description box. But yeah, as someone who is a lover of long form content, I just thought it would be super fun to talk more in depth about those 10 books that I'm really hoping to get to before the end of the year. We definitely have a bit of a range of genres going on, but a common theme amongst a lot of these books is that I've been putting them off because I feel like they're going to be 5-star reads for me. So I've been waiting for the perfect time to read them. I don't know why I do this, but I do it very frequently. I'm hoping that talking about these 10 books will get me to actually commit and read them before the end of the year. So yeah, if you don't see these books in my upcoming reading vlogs, comment what happened to that 10 before the end, Savannah. Anyways, let's just go ahead and get started talking about these 10 books. Okay, on the top of my pile is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. And if you've watched my latest reading vlog, you know that I'm off to a very great start because I actually have finished this book since posting that 10 before the end TikTok. This is the only one that I've actually finished so far, but I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's a small town fall romance book set in 1997. It gives very much Gilmore Girls vibes. Our female main character is Michelle, who's a very type A corporate girly living in Seattle. However, her mother unfortunately passes away. Because of this, someone has to go to Vermont to run the family business. Michelle takes this on because her younger sister Sarah, who is supposed to take over the bed and breakfast, is stuck finishing school. So it's on Michelle to go run this bed and breakfast in the cutest little town in Vermont. All of the characters have such fun personalities and make for the coziest atmosphere ever. Next door to the bed and breakfast, we have the town baker, Cliff, who Michelle sparks up a romance with. This book ended up being way better than I expected and worth all of those 500 pages. I know we get a little freaked out when romance books get that long because it can't possibly be that serious. But this is one of those books where you'll love the vibes, love the atmosphere so much, you won't even mind that you're reading 500 pages. They'll fly by because it feels like you're just hanging out with your friends in their cute, cozy little small town. Okay, next in my stack, we have Babel by R.F. Kuang. I've never read a book by R.F. Kuang before, and when Catabasis came out, I was really intrigued to read something by her. I didn't want to start with Catabasis. I wanted to start with one of her older books. I do also really want to read The Poppy War, but I figured I would start with a standalone rather than a series. It looks like this one takes place in 1828. What I know about it is that it's dark academia. Our main character goes to Oxford to study linguistics, I believe, but once he is there, or she, I don't know yet, haven't read the book, they discover that something much more sinister than just studying language is going on at the school. I feel like fall time and end of the year is the perfect time to read some dark academia, so I'm really hoping to get to this one, and I'm just super intrigued to see if I like R.F. Kuang's writing or not. I feel like she could be kind of divisive. Some people really love her, some people don't like her books that much. Sticking with the dark academia theme, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I have not read a classic yet this year, so I'd really like to get to this one. When I was in England, I got this little tiny book of Oscar Wilde quotes, and I loved it so much, I immediately went and purchased this book because I wanted to read more by him. I found him so witty and funny and insightful, and from what I know about this book, I believe it's a semi-humorous commentary on narcissism and vanity. It must have something to do with academia as well, because everyone says this book has dark academia vibes. Let's see what the back says. Alluring novel of decadence and sin was a success de scandale on publication. I've never heard that phrase before. It follows Dorian Gray, who, enthralled by his own exquisite portrait, exchanges his soul for eternal youth and beauty. Influenced by his friend Lord Henry Wotton, he is drawn into a corrupt double life, indulging his desires in secret while remaining a gentleman in the eyes of polite society. Only his portrait bears the traces of his depravity. This definitive edition includes a selection of contemporary reviews condemning the novel's immorality. Wait, that's going to be really interesting to read as well. Okay. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This one I actually started and I am loving. This is one of those ones that I've put off for a while because so many people told me I'm gonna love it. And I must say, they're right. I'm enjoying it so much. It takes place in the Kingdom of Blunder, which is just so funny that it's called that. But this kingdom has been overtaken by this mist, and this mist can infect you. It turns all your blood black, it makes you go mad, and leaves you with magic. Our main character, Elspeth, was infected by the mist when she was a child. And typically in the kingdom, if someone is found to be infected by the mist, they're executed. However, her family protected her by sending her away to live with her aunt and uncle. And luckily, no magical capabilities came to be, so she was able to hide the fact that she ever was infected. Or so that's what everybody thinks. Their kingdom is also kind of ruled by this set of cards. Each card has a different power, and it is believed that if someone can collect all of these cards, they can put an end to the mist and this illness for good. So I've kind of gotten to the part where Elspeth has joined a group of people that are trying to collect all of those said cards. And there's a romance that's unfolding as well, very slow burn, but really, really good. This book is so atmospheric. You can just feel the darkness of the forest and that ominous mist that is just constantly lurking, like waiting to take people. Also loving seeing all the different powers that all the different cards give people. Really, really loving this so far. Okay, the only nonfiction book in my stack is Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. If you're a John Green fan, you know this one was a long time coming, and I'm actually surprised it's taken me this long to get to this one. I guess just haven't been quite in the mood for it yet, but it is super short. I don't want to fly through it though, because I feel like I want to take my time to actually absorb all the information because it is a really fascinating topic. From what I know, tuberculosis is a disease that really shouldn't be around to this day. It's something that is easily curable. We have the cure for it. The cure is just not readily available to the people that need it. So it is a disease that affects people who are impoverished. Gosh, I was on a roll there for a second. Why can't I say that word? You guys know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I think in this, John Green follows one, maybe two different people who are suffering with the disease and the injustice they're facing. Considering suffering from this disease shouldn't be an issue that people are facing in 2025. So I'm really fascinated to read this, but I know it's gonna make me really upset. That's honestly probably why I've been putting it off. I'll get to it before the end of the year though, guys, I will. Okay, these next three books are books that I've had for a while, but I've been putting off for that same reason that I was talking about earlier, where I just know in my bones that they're gonna be a 5-star read. So I've been waiting for the perfect moment. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by this same author is one of my favorite books ever, so I know I love her writing. This book follows 3 young women from 3 different time periods in 3 different places in the world. I know there's lesbian vampires involved, and that's about where my knowledge of this book ends because I don't want to find out that much about it before I actually read it for myself. I'm sure you've heard 1 million people talk about this book already, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of the main authors, if not the main author, that got me back into reading. All of her books that are in that little interconnected world that includes The 7 Husbands, Daisy Jones, all of those books were 5 stars for me. Her backlist, not as much, but I don't know why I'm going on that tangent. In Atmosphere, we're following Joan, who's fighting to become one of the first female astronauts in the 1980s. That sounds so cool. I love stories about space, I love stories about strong women, and I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing, so I know I'm gonna love this one when I eventually get to it before the end of the year. My Friends by Fredrik Backman. I really wanted to read this one before summer ended, but like I keep saying, I was putting it off because Fredrik Backman is another one of my favorite authors. Most of his books have been 5 stars for me as well. While I think this one does have summer vibes, I would really like to get to it before the end of the year. And even though I am a very seasonal reader, I hope I find myself in the mood for this some point in November or December. In this one, our main character is Louisa, and from what I've heard, she's very obsessed with this one painting. I think the painting is what's on the cover of the book. I think she maybe steals the painting and then goes on this whole journey learning the backstory of the painting. I don't know. What I do know is that Fredrik Backman's writing is really good at having a ton of emotional depth balanced by a great amount of humor. He's very witty and extremely insightful, which is what I enjoy about all of his books, and I imagine is what I'm going to enjoy about this one as well. Oh, Wow, a lot of hardcovers, you guys. This is The Favorites by Lane Fargo, another book that everyone keeps telling me I'm specifically going to love. In this one, we're following two figure skaters that used to be partners. I think they used to be like some of the best figure skaters in the world. They ended up having a really bad falling out in the past. And then in the present, there's this documentary being made about their past. And they kind of come out of the shadows to set the story straight and say how it actually went down. I've heard this is kind of told in documentary style, similarly to the way Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid is written. Taylor Jenkins Reid is written, which also really intrigues me because I loved reading that style of book. I actually think this one is kind of mixed, like part documentary dialogue, part regular paragraph format. Yeah, it looks like it's mixed. And my copy is autographed, which is very slay. Okay, you guys, book number 10, the very last book on my little 10 before the end list, The Academy by Ellen Hilderbrand and her daughter, Shelby Cunningham. This is the most recent book that I have bought, actually. I just got it a couple of days ago. I love Ellen Hilderbrand, but typically I read her books during the summertime because they're almost always taking place on the island of Nantucket. But Ellen has said she is all done writing books on Nantucket and is kind of starting this new era of her writing career, starting off with this book that she wrote with her daughter that takes place at a boarding school, I believe. I wasn't too sure if I was going to read this, but it keeps getting incredible reviews. Everybody who I follow who reads this book absolutely loves it, says it's a page turner, which is also very exciting to me. Oh, that is so cute, the little photo of her and her daughter in the back there. I think this is going to give kind of like modern day Gossip Girl vibes, which I am totally here for. Ellen Hilderbrand's writing typically has a bunch of POVs and you kind of string together the storyline between everybody's point of view as things unfold, which I love. So I'm so excited to get to that one. Okay, you guys, that is my little 10 before the end list, 10 books that I would love to read before 2026. If you love any of these books, feel free to bully me in the comments into reading them ASAP. And let me know which books you're really hoping to get to before the end of the year as well. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye!